What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my weekly 2024 presidential election prediction. Now if you guys do enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit that post notification bell so you don't miss another video that I post, and make sure to follow the Twitter and join the Discord in the description down below. And let's get straight into this. And so guys, as of right now, basically, like before that I've said, the 2020 results: Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona is a combined 42, 43-ish thousand votes for the incumbent president of his victory against former President Donald Trump. If he would have lost those 43,000 votes, he would have lost the entire election because he would have tied in the electoral college. And in that case, Trump would have probably won through the House of Representatives. And right now, if you were to go back to April 6th, 2020, you can actually see that Biden is ahead. Or if you go to April 6th, 2020, Biden is ahead by 5.9% in the national popular vote. He's ahead 5.9% and ended up winning the popular vote by 4.5. And now Trump is up 1.1%. Two new polls out of Emerson and Rasmussen came out, which actually I believe that Trump improved in the latest Emerson poll. You see, Biden was ahead by 2 points in the last Emerson College poll, and now Trump is ahead by one in Emerson now, which is pretty interesting. So now Trump's ahead by one in Emerson. So different polls are shifting in different directions, which is really weird. And a lot of these polls that have Biden up by like quite a bit, especially in states like Pennsylvania or whatever, they tend to have very big sample sizes. However, I am going to talk about Pennsylvania today because I am going to really address something there. However, we are going to get into the safe red and safe Democratic states. So, for the red states, all the states that Trump won in 2020 by pretty comfortable margins. He's probably going to end up winning these by over 15 points. South Carolina is easily a 15-point margin of victory as of right now. However, I'd say Alaska is over 15 points. I think that Nebraska's second could have been safe if they actually would have passed that law, but because they did not pass it in Nebraska, it failed because Republicans are so principled there that they can't do anything to help Republicans electorally. That's what ended up happening. I think Biden, California, Oregon, Washington, those are going to be 15-point wins. I think New York, guys, is going to be over 15 points wins as of right now, over a 15-point win based out of primary turnout and stuff like that. I think Biden's still going to do decent here, but I think it could, in fact, be still over 15 points, as well as the rest of these states. The only state that I'd say probably not is the state of New Jersey, because there is a poll there that only had Biden up by 7 points. So I am going to leave it in the likely column, but for the rest of the states, those are going to be likely, and I think that means first is still going to be safe Democrat, which puts Biden at 158, actually Hawaii. So that puts him at 162 electoral college votes that are safe to Trump's 125 safe electoral college votes. Now, Iowa, Ohio, these are going to be added into the Trump column. These used to be, leading Obama states in 2008, 2012, but because of manufacturing jobs and overall Republican trends in the states, they have become Republican strongholds. And Donald Trump was really able to maximize the potential of those states in the last presidential cycle. Texas and Florida are going to be states that are going to be going to the former president. Texas, if you look at the state in 2020, Trump made massive gains in the border area, which basically signifies that his border policies were favorable to these kind of voters, especially to see these big trends like this, like, a 39-point shift to the right, 28 points to the right, 24 points to the right, 26 points. So it is a huge difference, between certain areas. And I think he might even be able to win a Duval County next time. For example, he might even be able to win Starr County in the next election, because Biden's primary turnout here has been really bad. And, even like Tarrant might even turn a corner next cycle back to being Republican. Denton County and Collin might kind of revert backwards as well to being a little bit more Republican. Even Dallas might even. Dallas, this county really shifted. However, if you look at, like, for example, Houston, the area actually really didn't shift that Democrat. It only shifted a point more Democratic. So there are some stagnation signs there for Democrats. And so I think Texas is going to be a likely state as of right now. He probably wins it by about 8 or 9 points, in my opinion. It's similar to a 2016 victory, but with a different coalition. Florida, Trump made massive gains in the Miami-Dade area, as well as Osceola County. He was able to make that 11 points redder than what it was in 2016. Even Palm Beach and Broward are significantly more red, as well as Henry, Okeechobee County, Hardy, DeSoto County, even these, Panhandle counties, he was able to make them a little bit more red. However, some of these, you know, northwestern counties became kind of Democratic. If it wasn't for Miami-Dade's shift, he probably would have ended up losing Florida, actually, which is pretty sad. But, he still was able to make it a Republican stronghold, and I expect Trump to probably win it close to 10 points. He's probably going to win it by more than he is Texas, because Florida is, having a really rightward massive swing. So I think he is going to actually be able to win it by more than he is Texas. For the likely states, I think Colorado, New Mexico, Illinois, and Virginia are going to be likely as of right now. I used to have Virginia and New Mexico as likely states or lean states. However, I think that the Democratic trends here are a little bit too strong for them to fall under 5 points. However, they are going to be closer. Instead of Biden winning it by 10, he probably wins it by 6. Or like New Mexico, instead of by 10, he probably wins it by 7 or something like that. Colorado, I have it as like a 9 or 10 point win for Biden right now, in my opinion. Now we're getting into the closer swing states. I think Maine second is likely, and I think Maine at large will actually be under 5. I also think for the lean Democratic states, I think Minnesota and Texas, Minnesota and New Hampshire are going to be under 5 percentage points. New Hampshire is probably going to be a 3-point win for Biden, and Minnesota is probably like a 1.5-point win to 2-point win for Biden as of right now. The Minneapolis area is going to shift massively to the right, in my opinion, especially with the whole Israel-Palestine thing. There was a lot of uncommitted votes here, so I think that is going to shift the state. And Trump's going to shift a lot of these rural counties in his favor, but I don't think it's going to be by enough in order for him to be able to outright win these two states. The next state on here I'm going to characterize is the state of North Carolina, which is going to be about a 4-point victory for Trump. He's probably going to continue the trends in the northeastern part of the state while Biden kind of improves in some of the city areas. So I think that Trump is going to be able to win it by 3.5 or 4 points as of right now. Now, if we were to go to Georgia, I think Georgia flips to Trump by like 2 to 3 points as well. If we were to go to the state of Georgia here, there were massive shifts in 2020 in the Atlanta areas, but I think a lot of these are going to stagnate and they're actually going to reverse backwards to Trump, especially with lower African American turnout and support for African Americans actually shifting towards Donald Trump. And so I think, in my opinion, that's going to help him actually, probably win the state by 2 to 3 points as of right now. I think Wisconsin's going to be close. It's a nail biter, but I think he does end up pulling it off. If you look at the county, the counties here, he's probably going to improve in some of the, western part of the state. Well, these, he's going to shift these right, but I think some of them are going to trend Democratic. Example for Ozaki, Milwaukee might trend a little bit more Democratic, but it'll shift Republican, but it'll trend Democrat, in my personal opinion. So that's basically what you're going to see there. Trump's going to turn out enough white working class voters here in order to barely win the state. However, if he's winning it by a tilt margin, more than likely Eric Hovde will probably not make it, even though I personally really like Eric Hovde. I think as of right now, if we were to go to the state of Nevada, I think Trump wins it by a tilt margin. I think he's got it because of the fact that, in my personal opinion, he's probably winning this by a somewhat comfortable margin in terms of, like, for a Republican. He's probably winning it by almost a point. And it's because I think there's going to be a massive Hispanic shift in the Clark County area. This county basically shifted a point or so to the right in 2020. And I think there's going to be a massive shift there once again. And I think Biden's going to not perform very well in the state of Nevada. Now, the last three states we have are Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Michigan, I do have going to the former president. I also have Nebraska second lean for Biden. But if you look at Michigan, right, I do see the state actually going to the former president. I think the Arab American communities are not happy with Biden. They just had a meeting with him at the White House. Some of them even left the meeting before it was over. And I think that expresses a lot of sentiment of some of the uncommitted voters. You know, over 100,000 uncommitted votes, which is like a third of which is like two-thirds of Biden's margin in the entire state, just within the Democrats alone. Biden won the state by 150,000 votes, and he already has 100,000 uncommitted votes with his own base. So imagine with, independents and Republicans as a whole, that's probably going to be a big issue for him going forward, as well as African American support being, the turnout dropping, and Biden probably not performing as well as them, nationally, and Trump doing a little bit better. I think Donald Trump's going to be able to win the state by about 0.6 percentage points. Wisconsin, I actually have a hot take for this, but I think Wisconsin may be ever so slightly closer than Michigan. It'll probably be like a 0.7, 0.6% victory, while Michigan's like slightly higher, just because I think the uncommitted vote here in this trend to African Americans for Trump is actually going to help him quite a bit in Michigan. So I think that Michigan, as of right now, votes ever so slightly to the right of Wisconsin. And now Pennsylvania. Here's the thing, guys. With Pennsylvania, right now the battleground average has Biden up by 0.1%. But the thing is, Trump has 46.2% in the aggregate as of right now. There is a big outlier here with Biden up by 10 points. And so I think if you were to remove that outlier that magically has Biden up by exactly 0.1%, if you were to remove this outlier, Trump's probably up in the state by like, half a point or so. I think he probably still gets it, but time will tell. But I think he still gets Pennsylvania. I think he'll do well enough with white working class voters and probably improve just enough in the right side of the state in order to be able to win. He probably wins Erie back. And so I think with some improvements in some of the rural counties, winning Erie back, winning Northampton back, possibly improving in Lackawanna County where Scranton is, and even in the Philadelphia, city proper, I think he might actually be able to barely win the state as of right now, probably within 10,000 votes, actually. I think Pennsylvania would be a very close state. I think it's going to be close in Arizona, which as of right now, I do have going to Trump. However, I do have it as a really close victory. It's like a 0.3 percentage victory. I think Maricopa County is going to get slightly closer for Trump. I think he does improve here. He probably almost wins it, or maybe he even just outright wins Maricopa next cycle. I think he might be able to, but he necessarily doesn't even have to win it outright in order to even win the state. But I think he's going to be able to shift the state just enough into his column with lower Biden turnout and the border issue really affecting Biden as a whole. Is going to help him in a place like Pima, Coastal County, and Yuma County. Those places, he's really going to be able to turn up the margins here because of the border crisis, and even in Maricopa as well. And so, because of that, I think Donald Trump does, in fact, win the state of Arizona. And so, the final map that I have right now is again Trump at 312 electoral votes to Biden's 226 electoral college votes. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that post notifications bell so you don't miss another video that I post. And make sure to follow the Twitter and join the Discord in the description down below. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon.